Hi guys, welcome to Talk to Me Tuesday for Tuesday, January 5th, 2016. This is Jennifer. We're going to be outside really briefly today because it's a bit cold here in Austin, Texas this morning, and I just came out here today to show you two finishes from last week. Both of these were on my UFO list from last year, and when I started working on my UFO list for this year, I could not bear to have these things continue. Over my shoulder here is my Australia quilt, and the reason I call it this is all of the non-bright fabrics, so the ones that are sort of laced together, those are all fossil ferns. All the rest of those fabrics are Australian prints that Hard Hat Cat gave me years ago. I mean, like maybe 2008. This is my chocolate box pattern, which is a single 14-inch block pattern. You can either traditionally piece it or paper piece it. And it's actually free on Sew Hooked, so if you like the look of this, you can get the block pattern for this for free on my website. I put fossil fern on the back. I basted it and quilted it and bound it all in one day. So it is, like I said, it's completely done. I did a large meander all over. This quilt was for me. It's gone. It's already in action on my bed. I've already washed it once. It crinkled up beautifully. I'm really happy with it. As you can see, it's a very happy quilt. It's very pretty, and the bright colors just really please me. So I'm just excited to have it done and get to share that with you guys today. The other thing I want to share with you guys before I go back inside is Topsy Turvy Trees, which is a quilt I designed in 2012. This is the smaller version. There's a larger version included in the pattern. I was really busy at that time. I was working full time and I didn't get the opportunity to quilt it, so it hung on my wall where I have all of my quilts hanging. If you guys watch my video just a little bit later, behind me in the corner is the door to my space where I do all my sewing and everything, and I hang all my quilts on the back of that door, and so it was on that door for a long time. So it is complete. I did a swirly curly free motion quilting on it, just like in and out swirls, and I want to show you guys that now. This is Topsy Turvy Trees. Hold this up for you guys. This is what it looks like. I put a purple on the back. The stems of the trees are actually purple, so that wasn't just completely random. I have decided, because I don't necessarily need this as a sample for myself, that I'm going to donate this to the Linus Connection. So this will actually be my first Linus quilt of the year. Anyway, this is a finish for Linus, and this is a finish for me. So let's go inside so I can warm my fingers up, and I will show you my UFO list for 2016. So this year I color-coded my chart. Red is blocks or top need to be pieced. So either I need to finish the blocks and piece the top, or I need to just piece the top because I've already made the blocks. Brown is needs borders, purple is needs quilting and or binding, yellow is at the long arm quilters, purple's for the Linus Connection, blue is new personal projects for this year, and orange is events for 2016. So those are events that I'm organizing or participating in for 2016. So the number one thing on my list is red, which means I need to finish the blocks and I need to piece the top, which is my Stonehenge Project of Doom from 2015. And right now it looks like this. I have 5 blocks left to piece. I have all the fabric. I have all the patterns out. I'm gonna try to just do a block here and there. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pull fabric for every block. I'm gonna put each one of those in a bag with the pattern, and when I have time to sit down and piece a block, I'll just sit down and piece a block. I really hoped to have that done last year, but I didn't, so on the UFO list it goes. The other thing I wanted to point out that I didn't, which is the color here this is January, and then I put July and I put December/January next year. And I set up a Google alert using my Google Calendar to remind me in July to do a progress report. So in July, I'm going to assess and see where I am. I think one of the problems that I have with my UFO list is by July and August, I haven't thought about it a whole lot. And then I get to November and I'm like, I have this whole UFO list that I haven't done a lot with, so I usually start out heavy and then I kind of taper off, and then I remember into November, December. So I'm going to check in again July, see how I'm doing, and go from there. The next one is the Paper Piecing Vintage Signature Quilt, which looks like this. It will be a wall hanging when it's done. I want to put a little border on it. That's my cat. I want to put a little border on it, and I have not done it yet. This one will have a border. I will quilt it myself, and then I'm planning on hanging this on the wall on a spot that you can't see right now, but it's over here, and I have a big blank spot where I'm going to hang this in my actual sewing room. The next one is There and Back Again, which is my Hobbit quilt from our block of the month we did on Fandom and Stitches in 2012. We did it in 2012. Oh my gosh, that's how long this has been waiting to be quilted. This is basted, but I'm actually going to unbaste it because something occurred to me that an idea that I had that I really like. I still have the signature blocks from the designers for this quilt, so I'm going to piece them into the back of the quilt so that they are actually part of the quilt and not a separate project. So I'm going to take the back off that's on here now. So this is my There and Back Again. All of these patterns are free on Fandom and Stitches. Like I said, this was a collaboration. It was the first collaborative block of the month quilt along type event that we did on Fandom and Stitches. This one is Topsy Turvy Trees, which I showed you guys outside. It is done. So I've just put an X here and a straight line through that. That one is already finished. I did it the day after I made this list, so I'm really pleased to have that off the list. So I'm already one down. That's very encouraging. This next one is my vintage quilt top. You guys can see here. This was an anniversary gift some years ago, and I really want to quilt this myself. I already have muslin, there it is, for back. I have batting and everything, and this is in this large chunk of green because this is another one that just needs to be quilted. The next one on the list is actually at a friend's house. She has a long arm machine and she is going to quilt it for me. I didn't give her a deadline originally, and she asked me for a deadline, so I asked her to have it done by my birthday, which is in April. It's on the list and I have complete faith that it will be done probably by May, because if she quilts it in April, then I will get the binding on because that's all it's going to need. And that is my Princess Bride quilt from our event 2 years ago. I need to make a list so that I know when we did all of these things, but it was our Princess Bride event on Fandom and Stitches, and again, all those Princess Bride patterns are on fandomandstitches.com. The next two are Project of Dooms that we've done from blocks from the Project of Doom Facebook group. So I'm just going to leave this on the hanger because I've shown you guys this one. This one I actually showed you just like a couple weeks ago because I pieced this one over the break. I might have shown it to you last week. I don't even know. I've just been a lot going on lately. These two are on my list for Linus. This one still has 2 rows of paper that I need to take off. I need to pull back because they both need to be quilted, and these will go to Linus. I did want to show you really quick. I still have enough Project of Doom blocks probably for 2 more quilts. So that brings us to the next thing on the list for Linus, which are orphan blocks and Stars for Linus. As many of you already know, I collect orphan blocks, blocks left over for projects, or single blocks that were made just to try something out, or blocks that were the wrong size or whatever. And then I collect those up until I have enough, and then I make them into quilts for Linus. It's a thing that I love to do. I do so much intricate work that it's a joy to get to work with blocks that are already finished and just take them and make them into something. I've had a lot of fun with it in the past. I don't know what my count was for orphan blocks for last year, but I'm actually going to try to keep track this year. Since I have my fabulous list, I'm going to try to keep ticky marks for all the ones that I finished this year. This is my bag of orphan blocks and Stars for Linus. You can see the star here. It is a lot, but it's not as many as it looks like because they're all sorted by color. So there are a lot of bags inside of this big bag. I have lots of bits and pieces. I have lots of blocks. And what I do is I just start pulling until I feel like I have enough blocks. So every once in a while I go through here and I just decide which one is thickest, what has the most blocks, and then I put them on the wall. And if they tell me that they want to be a quilt, then I make them a quilt. If they're not there yet, I put them back in the bag and I wait a little longer. And this has worked really well for me for a long time. Orphan blocks for Linus and Stars for Linus. So the star blocks are 12.5-inch unfinished star blocks, and I take those anytime. And then I try to put them all together. But over the last couple of years, I've included a lot of Stars for Linus in orphan block quilts, and they've come out great. The next thing on my list is a new project for this year. It's something I had on my list as a new project for last year, but I never did it. I just never got to it. I really want to make a Halloween quilt. I don't know that this is going to be a super complex quilt. I just have been collecting some beautiful Halloween fabric for several years now, and I have a lot of really fun stuff in this bag, and I would really like to see this as a Halloween quilt by October so that I can have it out in my living room during the month of October. I also have on my list a quilt for my son. He graduates from high school this year, and I would like to do the same thing I did for my daughter, which is I made her a quilt for when she went to college. He has not decided what he would like for his quilt yet. We've had a couple of conversations. I told him I need to know by March. That way when the X-Files quilt along, which we'll get to in a second, is over, I can start on his quilt in earnest. This is my chocolate box quilt. And this is the back, which it's like candy sprinkles. This is the quilt that the block that I used for my Australia quilt was designed for. I designed it specifically for this quilt. This was a chocolate fabric challenge for my bee last year. And all of the fabric either had to be chocolate colored or chocolate themed. So it has all kinds of chocolatey themed things in it. This quilt top is complete. I haven't quilted this one yet, sort of by design. I was thinking of possibly using this for something, and I'm just waiting to know something. And I know that's really vague, and I'm sorry, but it might be a gift, and I'm just waiting. So I will let you guys know. The last quilt top that needs to be quilted is my Project of Doom 2015 signature quilt. You guys saw this quite a lot on my wall last year. I worked on it for a few weeks. I played with the blocks and flipped them around a lot until it was done. These are all the people that sent me signature blocks for the 2015 Project of Doom quilt along. It's a really nice sized quilt. It's really pretty, and I cannot wait to get it quilted. It needs a back. I haven't decided on that yet. I might put Harry Potter fabric on the back of this, since we have new Harry Potter fabric that's available from Joann's. Now the last two things that I want to talk about are on my list. They are both new, but they are both events. And I'm going to step to this side because the first one I want to talk about is my favorite things. This is the very first block in my 2016 block of the month on sewhook.com. Every month I will have a free pattern day, which is the first of the month, and you have from 8 a.m. on the 1st to 8 a.m. on the 2nd, and you can download that pattern for free during that time. After that time, it's $2. I am not doing that to punish anyone. I have had some unhappy people about that, but I gotta make a living. My reasoning behind that was to encourage you to come on the first day. I want to encourage participation. I don't want to punish people for not being there on the first day, but I want to encourage you to come and save that pattern on the first day. So don't just come and bookmark it. Make sure you save it because it's going to be gone after the first day. After that, like I said, $2. There will be 16 patterns total, and every third month you get 2 patterns, and that includes for the $2. You will still get the 2 patterns for the $2. I'm not going to try to sneak in an extra sale just by, you know, having an extra pattern that you have to pay another $2 for. It's been going really beautifully so far. I want to give big thanks to everyone that's participating and is in the Facebook group. I've seen some really great pictures. There is a prize this month for participating, so make sure you post your pictures to Flickr. And at the end of the month, so at the beginning of next month, I believe I've got it set for the first Friday of February. I will do a big post that has everybody's sewing machine blocks, and from that group, it's just like Fandom and Stitches. From that group, I will pull a name and you will win a prize. So the prize is on the website and you can see that more about that there. And if you have any other questions, let me know. But so far, it's been great. You guys have been amazing, and I've had so much fun with it so far. I love seeing your sewing machines. The very, very last thing on my 2016 list is I Want to Believe an X-Files quilt and stitch along, which starts tomorrow on Fandom and Stitches. This is an entirely free event. It's once a week. It is 12 patterns plus bonus patterns because you know I can never do just the ones I said I was going to do. It includes a quilt layout. The quilt layout was revealed last week on fandomandstitches.com. Tomorrow you get the very first block. It will, like I said, be 1 block a week on Wednesdays through March. The very last week of March you get the quilt layout. So I'm going to tease you a little bit, and it's not a really good tease because you're not going to see a whole lot. But this is tomorrow's block. See, not a very good tease, but it's a little bit of a tease. So tomorrow's block is embroidered, so that's a good tease, right? Most of the blocks are embroidered, and you can actually see that if you look at the quilt, but I hope you guys enjoy it. I had a great time designing it. It's been such a blast to design both my favorite things and the X-Files. So that's it. That is my 2016 list. I'm going to keep this list in a place that's really visible. I had it on my closet door last year. It's probably going to put it in the same place this year. I look at it all the time. Hopefully it will not become part of the scenery. I'm gonna, like I said, I've already set up Google alerts so that I will get reminders that I have a UFO list. I want to try to finish 1 old project every month. I've already finished 2, one that is not on this list because I finished it from last year, and one that is on this list because I finished it after I made the list. If I can finish 1 a month, then I will make amazing progress. We'll see. I don't know. You guys share your lists. I would love to know what you're working on this year, what you want to accomplish this year, what you have to do this year, and I am inspired by your stories and by your projects, and I hope to see you guys next week. Don't forget to post a video on ttmt.livejournal.com, and that's it. Bye!